It'd be fitting if I was drinking Monster, since we're talking about a true monster of the metal genre, but Nos keeps me going. With Remission, we spoke about Mastodon's kind of coming into the airing of the crown for the next great metal champion. However, with an album like Leviathan to follow it up, something very, very important had to take place. This is what separates good bands from great bands, and one-trick pony bands from good bands. The second album, the follow-up disc. Why is that? Because the first album can easily take people by surprise because it's something perhaps they haven't heard before from a new band, as opposed to the first album kind of being a stepping stone. I mean, there's two different ways that a first album can really go. It could be a logical stepping stone en route to better and bigger things, or it could take you by surprise. It could really, cause a lot of acclaim, cause you to really enjoy a band very quickly and at the onset, and then they have to do something to follow that up, to maintain your attention and to continue on with their career. Leviathan was that album for Mastodon. Now, Leviathan is the beast, a beast, and this is an album that perfectly reflects that title very, very well. This is a beast of a release. However, we also see the progression further of Mastodon's sound. Now, if you remember from whenever we spoke about Remission, I spoke about the fact that this was a band that was akin to using concept albums as a way to kind of get their message across, and Leviathan was the first of such things, loosely based around Moby Dick. And throughout this interpretation of Mellville, we kind of get into the psychological aspects of everything that's going on throughout the storyline, while at the same time also seeing the psychological aspects of Mastodon the band, building upon that which they were able to lay groundwork for with their first album. Building upon the fact that they are a band that is able to do two things very, very well, and that's sludge and progressive music. And they're able to combine them together in another little merger between heaven and hell in order to create something that not only is able to make you kind of bang your head, or something that you can light up some weed to or something like that, but also something that makes you think, also something that kind of furthers you as a person, and kind of gives you a little bit more of a reason to drop your jaw at this band. And they continue to show their ability to do that on a disc like Leviathan, mainly because they're doing all of that, but they're at the same time taking on a conceptual theme. I mean, there's a lot going on here. There is a lot going on with an album such as this, where you have to take into account the theme. You have to take into account what they're doing musically, where they're blending the sludge, where they're throwing in the prog. It hits you left and right, north and south. You don't know what's coming next. You don't understand, whenever it happens, where it came from. And that's a good thing on this disc. In other discs, that's not something that's a good thing. Whenever you're saying the words, I don't know where that came from, usually that is a bad thing. Usually that implies that something came from so far out in left field that it's completely taken you to a 180-degree loop, and you're just wondering and trying to get your bearings, but have no clue how you got there. With this album, you understand where you got there, because it's all very logical and progressive in nature. But you're just thinking to yourself, damn, I can't believe they took me here. It's almost like it's your birthday. And all that you wanted to do for your birthday is go to a strip club. All you wanted to do is go to a strip club. So what do your friends do? They take you to a bar. And you think to yourself, well, this sucks. I wanted to go to a strip club and they took me to a bar. But then you realize something. You realize that this is a bar that is also a strip club, that's also partially owned by Dave & Buster's, so there's a bunch of fucking games and shit there. And all the girls, you have your pick. You have your pick to whichever girl that you want. It's been paid for. And you think to yourself, damn, all I wanted to do was go to a strip club, but now all of a sudden, some stripper is grinding up against my junk and wants to fuck me senseless. Where did this come from? Thank you, but where did this come from? Okay, that's not the best of examples. However, it's exactly the feeling that you get because you're just so surprised. You know that something good comes with each track on this album. You know that the progression is continuously building toward this story. You know how Moby Dick ends. I would hope so. You understand what happens, but through the psychological notion that this album is able to take you through the semblance of madness, through the idea of constant obsession, through the mental disease that Captain Ahab goes through in his obsession for this white whale, only to discover at the end that in reality nobody wins. Why? And the music reflects this beautifully. The music is the best part about this, because it's almost like there's a soundtrack to a movie that's not even on a screen. You don't even have to watch anything because the movie's up at here. These guys took a story, a classic tale, and spun it around and made it their own, and made it so that the listener could actually envision the story in their head without having to do anything else, without having to do anything visually. They're able to do this through their music, through the mixture of vocals, through the mixture of styles, through very, very tight production work. Bada bing, bada boom. Leviathan scored massive acclaim, and it's fair to say why. But once again, here's another thing that might be amazing to you to know. Whenever it comes to Mastodon's discography, this is once again an album that I place near the bottom. I know you guys are all looking at me like, what? Are you fucking nuts? Are you loony, Cover Killer Nation? Did you finally take one too many blows to the head? Have you been drinking tonight? Is that strip club metaphor getting to your dick or something? No. That should just be a prime example as to what Mastodon has been able to do through 5 albums in their career. That should be a prime example to what this band has been able to do in less than 10 years. And this should help you understand why the following to Mastodon is not an occult following like it is for a lot of other bands. It is instead a massive wave where you're going to be talking about this band influencing others in the not too distant future. Leviathan is the beast of the album that got them even more attention than Remission, that widened their fan base exponentially, that got them universal acclaim through publication, website, and reviewer alike. And there's damn good reason to that. If you have not listened to this chapter of Mastodon's history yet, definitely do it. If you want an opening number to the Mastodon discography, yes, I know that I said that Remission was fantastic. It's because it was. But Leviathan will help you understand a little bit better just what exactly this band is going to be all about.